pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop. And keeping our Purple Pants podcast pit stop coverage, I'm excited to have the brothers, Yeremi and Liam, on the podcast. How are you guys doing today?
Oh, we're doing great. We're still in
Doing
high spirits
fabulous.
after last night.
Exactly. Yes, we are.
Wonderful. My co-host, Brooke Camhigh, she couldn't be here. You know, she is the winner of Amazing Race Season 29, but she definitely sends her love and wanted me to tell you hello. We fell in love with you guys, I think, watching your vulnerability, talking about your relationship and your brotherhood. I loved it. I felt like I could completely relate. I've got a brother that I feel like we've spent 3.5 years not talking. So seeing that on TV, I really could relate to it. How was it watching it back and kind of reliving all of those emotions again?
Well, I mean, Jeremy and I had an estranged relationship for a good portion of our life. So, I mean, it was very nice to see our finished product of what we had been working on, which was our relationship over the past few months prior to the race. Through the casting process, when we were initially working on mending our relationship, working through our problems, but then seeing it on the physical aspect of the race, seeing it in action and seeing how beautiful it actually is in these high stress situations, it was just so wonderful. And we've been getting a lot of messages from people that have been saying that they relate to our story and that we've helped them through things, and they ask us for advice and things like that. And it is just, it's amazing. It's beautiful. It's worth more than any amount of money on the planet to just be able to help people, especially while we're helping our own relationship. I mean, we work really hard for it, and if we're able to be a role model or inspire people to do the same thing and not miss out on lost time with their siblings, I mean, what else could you want, right?
Yeah. And Brice, I'd say the same thing, man, is just watching it all unfold out there. I mean, it was beautiful to me, man. Like something that I'm really big on preaching in my own personal life is especially as a man and coming from the background that me and Liam had, we had a really low connection with our emotional self for a really, really long time growing up. Me going through the Marines and Liam through the Navy, we really had to kind of block out that side of us for a really long time, and being able to connect back with it is something that is a difficult journey in itself, just connecting with yourself emotionally, but then trying to be emotional enough with other people and connect in that way is something that's also really difficult. And I'm just a huge I'm just a huge advocate of, I know that everybody wants a certain thing from somebody else, a certain relationship that they feel like they don't have, and it's all completely attainable if you go through the uncomfortable situation of sitting down and having that conversation and really mashing things out with that person. And it's completely possible, and it can happen in a day. And what can happen in a day can forever change the trajectory of your relationship for the rest of your life. And I think too many people take that for granted, and they allow, petty things or
Right.
grudges just to last for so long. And the time is so limited. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
if I would regret it forever if something happened and me and Liam didn't do everything in our power to fix the beautiful thing we have. So being able to see it out there, like Liam said, we were able to see the fruits of our labor, and it was incredible. It was beautiful. I think me and Liam, we did amazing with what we had.
Mhm.
Although you didn't win the Amazing Race, I feel like in my heart, you really won the Amazing Race. Like that is really the Amazing Race of
Yeah.
the world. I even get like a little emotional hearing that. You're making me want to text my brother and just say like, "Hey, how are you?" But I appreciate you so much for sharing. What did you find the hardest part about being on the race? Was it the constant go, 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 go? Was it the language barriers? Was it the time just around each other? Was it the physicality, or was it something else?
So I'll say for sure, right? Yeah, I actually went down to Texas for a month and a half before the race to prepare and train with Jeremy, since we live in different states. So being on the race, I'd actually been with Jeremy for like nearly 3 months at that point, straight, which we still had such a great dynamic. And when you're like, with somebody for so long, you start to like butt heads at things. But I mean, that really didn't happen that much with Jeremy and I. I mean, it was that was a really interesting thing that you just, made me think about as well. But I would say that the hardest thing about being on the race would probably be the language barrier is just insane, especially in India. I mean, it was crazy, or at least with our rickshaw driver. But I know we'll get there, Brice. I know it. But that, or just kind of having to be on 100%. 24/7 because of like the cameras and because like what you're doing, and it can be very, very exhausting. It was very similar to being on deployment. I know Yeremi can relate to that as well. So that was probably the hardest thing in my opinion.
In my perspective, I think the hardest things were navigating, and then the enormous weight of decision making.
Yeah.
There's seldom times in your life before going through an experience like this where your decisions hold so much weight for your immediate future. So like a lot of people, it's really easy to overthink what is about to happen, and every decision matters. From, do we go down this street, do we get this taxi, do we get this plane ticket, do we go this way, do we choose this challenge? Like, all of it is taken into account, and it can change the entire dynamic of the game. And that's a really, really intense pressure that if you cannot stay composed and also have a partner who is willing to support you and to hold you and to pull weight, and sometimes that you might be on your lower side, they're really important factors in being able to just keep it together under that, enormous amount of pressure.
And keeping in that same line of thought, when Liam, you went down to Texas for those 3 months, did you guys talk about like, if this roadblock comes up, I'm going to do this, or I'm not good at that? Did you ever consider that? Like, what would be your strengths in the roadblocks?
Yeah, so Yeremi and I did discuss a lot of that and what our strengths and what each other's weaknesses are. We talked about a lot of those things, and which was, funny enough, was that first roadblock would have been perfect for Yeremi. I mean, he lived in California. He was stationed there near LA for years. And then two, he's not afraid of heights like I am. So that would have been great for him. But we did discuss things like that. However, you do have a certain amount of roadblocks that each team member needs to complete throughout the entire duration of the race. So initially, Yeremi and I decided, hey, first roadblock, we'll rock, paper, scissors for it and alternate from there going out. So that's what we did, and I kind of got screwed going up on a damn tightrope and whatnot. But other than that, yeah, we did discuss our strengths and our weaknesses. But it's kind of hard to delegate some of these challenges to either your other teammate or to yourself, because you don't know much about it. You know what I mean? When you go, you read like a little riddle or something, you know what I mean? Right? It's like, it might be it might not be it. And then you have to decide based on that. So it was kind of like, up in the air.
Yeah. And going off of that point, that's a really important factor in being able to make your decision on the roadblocks, is that you don't have a lot to go off of. So I think teams can spend so much time trying to overthink, like, oh, maybe you should do it, or maybe I should do it. Like, you see some teams sometimes where they're just like, maybe you, me, not
episode 1.
Yeah, episode 1, exactly. So me and Liam, we were like, to take that element out of it, what we're gonna do is, from the first roadblock going forward, we're just gonna rock, paper, scissors, and every single leg we're gonna alternate. What that'll help us to do is it'll help eliminate the time of us discussing, and then two, it will take the weight off of a person who might be doing 3 roadblocks in a row, which is not what we want, because the roadblocks come with a significant amount of stress and pressure in themselves. You're the only person there for your team. So we wanted to try and be there for each other in the kind of that fair way, and help to take as much stress off of each other as we could along the journey.
Now, I'm not going to say no names with this question, but I want to know, after the amazing race is over, has anyone taken any dance lessons? Has anybody, tried to fix their face while they moving, or is it still giving serial killer?
Brice, every single day when I get out of the shower, I dance that Indian routine in the mirror with a huge smile on my face, and it looks so much better than it did on TV. But oh my God, that challenge was I was so
Oh,
pissed. I was so
Yeah,
pissed. When they said who's
Yeremi.
better at balancing, and Lee was like, Jeremy can balance. I was like, yeah, I can. I was like, maybe we're gonna be holding the bamboo sticks that we just brought up here, and I get to balance on something, and then we get up there and it's dancing. And I was like, I
oh my
knew that
gosh.
this was gonna come, and of course, it's me that has to be the fucking dancer
It,
right now.
it just alternated like that, and
I know.
I was so happy it wasn't me, Brice. Let me tell you that. All right, I was more than happy to sit with the peanut gallery and judge my brother. I was
Oh
very
my
happy to do that.
god.
It was the smile for me though. That's what took me out. It was like I was
You
like,
know,
oh,
Bryce, you know where
I
it
was
came
like,
from? I was doing the dance, right? And I was going through it, right? Like the first couple times you just drop it and you're like, this ain't gonna work, right? So I have to figure out how to balance it. And then I noticed the dancers were none of them were wearing any shoes, and all the rest of the competitors were wearing shoes. And I was like, oh, maybe it'll make it easier if I don't wear my shoes. So I took mine off, and it did make it easier. And I was like, oh my god, this is great. And I finally got through an entire dance, holding and bouncing the pots, not dropping them. And I was barefoot, but I wasn't getting a check. And I was like, what is going on? And after like 2 or 3 actual full dances of not dropping pots and me making it through but not getting accepted, I was like, yo, what do you need from me? I was like, you need a little pizzazz. You want a smile? And I was just like trying to give you what you want, bro. I was like, do you like my fist? You like it?
you tried. Well, I played Survivor, and with you guys doing Amazing Race, I feel like, every season for the last 2 years, the Challenge USA has been calling. And I definitely feel like you two would fit the mark of being perfect for that show. But due to time, I just want to know, who Lewis is, correct, from Amazing Race?
Mm-hmm.
You know who Derek is from
Yes.
Amazing Race and Big Brother? Do you know what those two have in common?
I don't know.
What have you ever heard of the Brice Isaiah Zaddy calendar?
No.
Okay, well now you know. So Lewis and Derek are in
I've
the
seen
Brice
those.
Isaiah 2024 Zaddy calendar. So I just wanted to know, the people wanted me to ask you, if a phone call came for the Brice Isaiah 2025 Zaddy calendar, would the brothers answer the telephone call?
I'm already on the phone, Brice.
I would absolutely be open to a phone call about it.
Yeah,
That sounds
we would definitely.
I've seen those pictures before. That's so funny that you say that. I follow Lewis, and I saw this. And I was like, "Dang, Lewis out here like a firefighter, boy!"
Yeah, no, but we would be definitely open to a phone call.
Okay, well, listen, 2025 is your year. It's been truly a pleasure to watch you guys. I love your relationship, and I am sure in the reality circuit, I will see you sometime soon. But thank you so much for this opportunity. And again, thank you so much for just living in your truth and sharing your story. I really feel like it has helped a lot of family members and people. So thank you so much.
Cool.
Thank you
Thanks,
so much,
Brice. I appreciate
It's
it,
been
man.
a pleasure, man.
Thanks, guys.
Stop. Hit, stop. It's a hit.